The art of persuasion. Now, one of the most common challenges travelers face when planning a new trip is usually somebody else standing in their way, trying to prevent them from actually going out and traveling. And I know this because on my first ever solo trip, I had to convince my parents to let me move to New Zealand for 1 year, only knowing one other person that I met online. Step number 1, convince yourself. So assume that them holding you back isn't a factor. Are you 100% convinced that you want to go travel? No, I'm serious. Like, this is a serious question. Of course, everyone says they want to go travel, but are you really ready to go travel? Are you ready to make the sacrifices and give up things and plan and put the work in to go and make this a reality? Are you mentally prepared for leaving the comforts of your home and for spending that much time if you're going for a longer time away? If you're still on the fence, maybe right now isn't the perfect time for you to go on this trip, and maybe you need to just give yourself a bit more time and the person who's holding you back a bit more time as well. One important thing for you to think of is, why do you want to go? Are you there to try and learn about new culture, new history? Do you want to meet new people? Do you just want to see another part of the world or try new foods? What is it that is your reasoning behind why you want to go? Because before you can convince anybody to let you do something, you gotta convince yourself and be dead set on trying to make this happen. Step 2, educate yourself. You cannot convince anyone of anything if you don't know all the facts, and if you don't have all of the answers to all the questions and concerns that they're gonna ask you. So we're gonna make a list of all of the questions that you have and all of the concerns that you have, and then we're gonna start reading and we're gonna start doing research, and we're gonna become experts on our trip, our future trip, and everything there is to know about it. Such as, where do we want to go? We need to know facts about the country or the city or the place, knowledge, just general knowledge, visa requirements. Who do we want to go with? Are we going to go solo? Are we going to travel with friends? Are we going to do a possible group tour and meet up with people? When do we want to go? And how far away from now? In 1 month's time, 6 months' time, maybe in 2 years? For how long? Is it going to be a week, a month, 6 months? How much is it going to cost? Have you looked up flights, accommodation, transportation, food costs, tour costs, additional spending money costs for the whole duration of that trip? Have you calculated it all down, written it in a spreadsheet, and have an approximate number of how much money you are going to need? And how will you pay for it? Are you going to save up? Do you already have savings? Is it going to be a working holiday? Or are you possibly trying to get help financially from this person you're trying to convince? You need to educate yourself and know all of these answers so that you can have a better understanding, a clearer picture of what it's going to take to put this trip together. Not only that, you're going to feel so much more comfortable and confident in yourself because you have these answers. So that's going to make it much easier to convince somebody else to let you go on this trip. So after you've done all the research, it's time to move on to step number 3. Step number 3, educate them. Before we beg and we ask and we plead, we need to present our ideas in a well thought out plan. So start by bringing up the idea and then instantly jump into the facts, because facts and research are your friend. Now imagine it like a school presentation or a work presentation. You need to present to them your facts, your charts, your spreadsheets, and all of the answers to every possible question that they're gonna ask you. Write it up in a Word document, a PDF, a PowerPoint presentation. Just get it onto paper so that can help you verbalize it a lot better, because just keeping it in your head, it's really easy to get tripped up in your thoughts when you're confronting someone one-on-one and trying to persuade them. Give them documents to show them that this isn't just some afterthought. This is a well-calculated plan that you've been doing a lot of research in and given it a lot of thought. And that you are dead serious in trying to make this happen. Step 4, convince them. Now that they have all the facts, they're gonna have some questions. Think of all the possible questions they're gonna ask you or have already asked you before. Write them down and have the answers prepared in advance so you know all of those answers to them. Give them all of the reassurance that you can, that you know what you are doing, because you've done the research. You do know what you are doing, because that was what step 1 and step 2 was all about. So that you know what you are getting yourself into. Give them examples. Do you have any friends that have traveled, or do they know of anyone that's traveled? Do you have anybody in maybe your family that has done any sort of trip that you could use as an example? If they are objecting, ask them why, and really ask them why. Get an answer for them. Don't just take no for an answer. You need to get an actual reason why they don't want you to do this trip. And then take that answer and see if it's maybe something that can be fixed. Can tweaking the plan make that answer change? Can it make it go away? Is there something you can do to reassure that person that we can make this objection nullified? And the timing, watch out for the timing of when you are going to bring this idea up to them. Give them enough time so they can really think. They can take the papers, the documents that you've presented to them back and ingest it and really think about it. Don't just spur it last minute on them, or spur it when they're in a crappy mood. And throughout the whole process, be nice, stay calm, and be confident. Step 5. Compromise. Sometimes our plans are a little bit too ambitious, and sometimes the people objecting us have very valid points. That's why it's important to listen and hear out all of their concerns and objections and see, well, is that an actual genuine objection? Is that an actual genuine concern that they are worried about? There might be questions that you still need to do research about. I mean, there's probably at least a few things you haven't thought about. Collectively, figure a way to negotiate into making this trip work, because there are multiple ways to execute any idea. If they are truly the ones stopping you and you cannot go without their permission, then try and meet them halfway, or 2/3 of the way, or 7/8 of the way. That is not a failure, that is still success. Leaving for 6 months on a solo backpacking trip is a little bit hard to convince anyone to let you go, especially if you've never done it before. So maybe instead try a week-long solo group tour and see how they feel about that. You know, once you've got some smaller, more easier projects under your belt, you can ease them into allowing you to do the bigger projects. Once they see that you are responsible and you are safe, they'll be a lot more inclined to let you do those bigger, more adventurous trips. And sometimes there are just hard no's, like places they just don't want you to go, or budgets or time frames, and then you just have to kind of switch your plans. The world is freaking huge. There are so many options, so many things you can do, so many places that you can go. If they just don't want you to go to some place or for a certain period of time, maybe you just, this isn't the right time for you to do that trip, and just pick a different trip. The world is huge. There's a lot of options out there. Sometimes all it takes is a bit of patience and persistence. Maybe later on they'll open up to that trip, but right now it's just not happening. So let's do a different trip, and they may be okay with that. And last, step 6. Inception. Just kidding, there is no step 6. I mean, if you do manage Inception, which is making them think it's their idea for you to go travel, well then, hats off to you. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video and it's going to help you in your mission of trying to persuade whoever it is that is standing in front of you and the world of travel. So good luck on your endeavors, and don't forget to check out my description because I'm leaving a lot of links to previous videos that I've done that kind of touch on certain subjects. So if you are in step number 2 and you want to learn a bit more about those, go check them out down there. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and let me know down below in the comments what you thought of it. Plus, subscribe to my YouTube channel because I post travel videos and advice all the time. So if you want more advice, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Okay, I will see you guys again in a few days' time with another video. Bye!